when you're starting a business and you're thinking about funding, we haven't even touched on funding and like the issues we have with that. But think about it, only 13% of people are trusting banks that they can go
I
and
think
get
that's
a
an
loan.
interesting one.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting one. I personally wouldn't use trusting as the operative word in that sentence there. I don't know if it's a trusting thing. I think we alluded to in one of the first episodes when we touched briefly about this and how funding is an issue. Some people don't know. Okay, so a lack of knowledge is also a thing. How to fill out an application to get funding and stuff like that. And let's not act like there's no sort of racial bias that comes within this. We see it when, you know, we're applying for jobs. I've had many conversations with you guys, you know, when we're applying for jobs and stuff like that. There is a discriminatory fact that come around it. But yes, it's easy to imply that only 13% of people that own a business trust banks. Were you contacted as one of the percentages? Were you?
No.
Right.
But personally...
But that's the point though,
Yeah,
innit?
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying to you? We all run businesses here and I don't know about that. It's easy to sort of go
I feel
into
like, yeah,
those
sometimes
things.
people don't know. People don't know.
I think that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
I think people just don't know where to go or how to start applying for funding. What sort of initiatives are out there to support a new business? But it's an interesting point. It's an interesting point.
And then I wanted to touch on the fact also that in terms of the educational system in the UK here as well, it's not equipping black business owners or even just, you know, individuals to become business owners. It's literally to put you into the 9-to-5, put you into the system, put you into the rat race. We're not taught to think outside of the box. So when you do, you can feel isolated. I felt isolated when I started my business because all my friends were working 9-to-5s or thinking about their 9-to-5s. Whereas, you know, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to do a 9-to-5 or I'm going to do something to be able to fund myself and start my business. So my mentality has always been, I'm not staying in a 9-to-5 for too long. If I'm going to have a 9-to-5, I'm there for a particular reason, to learn something, to get money, to go and do something else.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I'm from the same ilk as well when it comes to that, because it's almost finding something to use as your platform to get to where you need to get to. And of course, like having to juggle both, as well as volunteering work, for example, for me, and trying to create a business as well as doing the corporate 9-to-5 stuff. I think juggling all of those things can have an impact on you. And definitely there's a air of, you know, being isolated, but I also do know that certain paths are meant to be walked alone. You know, I've never been one to be a conformist. I've always been a non-conformist. So me going through that, etc., I'm all right with it, you know, because I know that my end goal is supposed to be bigger in relation to that as well. But yeah, it's really interesting because there's skill sets that you have to obviously garner as well. There's ways in which you communicate. I think every single individual should be able to sell something. You know, I'm very big on sales. I feel like you should be able to sell something, whether or not you have a business or not, whether it's an idea that you're selling or even it's a conversation that you're having, you need to be able to have that impact.
And I would
on
argue
people.
we're naturally good sellers.
Yeah?
Straight from the roads of Lagos, selling pure water and groundnuts.
I wasn't there with you.
Yeah.
I wasn't there with you. I
would say it's innate. Yeah, 100%.
You think it's innate that way? I think it's a slippery slope that I think... I don't know. I mean, I love our people, and I think we're a people of great intelligence and we're a people of great rhythm, and we know how to speak to people. There are sales skills, and what I don't want to do is be dismissive of learned skills.
Yeah, 100%. You have to,
because there's things that you need to do
yeah,
to ensure that you're at the top of your game. None of us are ever born to be average, right? You know, everyone has an intrinsic value, maybe like you said, in terms of selling and being able to communicate with people, but you're stripped of that the more you're exposing to the world, exposing to the education system. Now, what are you doing on the flip side to ensure that, well, actually I'm sharpening my iron whilst I'm still here? And that's where I think, you know, reading, going to networking events, going to these initiatives that we've spoken about today. I think we've given so many people so many gems that, you know, if you really wanted to start a business, then there's a lot to listen to in this conversation. So many gems that you could sort of just pick up on, just moving forward. But
yeah, I think there's a lot of optimism for anyone who wants to start their business.
Oh, absolutely.
As a black person, so
I've seen a growth, and I don't know. Have you? Like, I've seen a huge
100% from when I started my first business to now. Like, I feel like I don't know if it's a trend, but now there's like a big thing on entrepreneurship, and looking at the younger generation, the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're a lot more entrepreneurial. But I think that's also because they have a lot more access, you know, through social media. You can see what other people are doing. People are a lot more vocal. I feel like when, you know, back in the day when we was in school, there wasn't much content.
We was the first of the first.
Yeah,
weren't
there
I
we?
would
wasn't much
argue
content
Gen
out
Z
there.
and Gen Alpha have learnt a lot from our generation.
Similar to okay. I was gonna say similar to us and the previous generation. There's always things that we take from people. You know, yeah, cool. We've had it hard, didn't it? I'm saying to you, but they only know what they know. You know, your journey's subjective to you, innit? They only know what they know and what they've been exposed to. Same as us, innit? And I'm sure our parents, when we was growing up, it was like, you don't know what I used to do when I was growing up, this, that, and the other. So, yeah, cool. We could argue that it's getting easier where they're more, the accessibility to other avenues for them to sort of progress is there. But we could also say, I mean, YouTube was our thing. We was playing FIFA for free. We were playing FIFA for free. Now look what people are doing now. If I had stuck to playing FIFA, I probably would be a billionaire because I was everyone.
Number
I was
one
playing,
esports.
number one. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But it's acting on that. But yeah, I guess you guys are right in the sense that now you understand that there's actually an end goal to this. You could actually win from doing this, and I think that does change people's perspective. But yeah, I've seen a huge growth in entrepreneurship within the community as well. Like, and I think it's a great thing. That's why I think it's so important that we support our own, because I could argue that we're probably one of the only communities that bash our own in public. And I think it's so sad. I think it's so sad because nobody else, I was going to swear that nobody messes with black people except black people. So what chances do you have when your own people are against you? And that's where I think for me, we've just got sometimes just swallow the pill, sometimes just swallow the pride and say, do you know what, I want you to be successful, and I want this to come out. Why are you laughing? And I want you to be successful. I know why you're laughing, but we're not doing one-ups on this show. But yeah, like I want you to be successful, you know, and I want you to progress, because actually inadvertently what you're doing is going to be beneficial for me. It's going to be beneficial for my kids and the community that we build. So I think to end the show, unless of course there's anything else you guys want to sort of go through.
There was a second part that you said we're going to talk about some like some of the other cultures maybe, and the other, you know, for example, I like to look at the Jewish culture in terms of like businesses and how I'm not sure of the actual statistic, but is it like their money goes around 13 times?
I saw something about the days, to be fair. I think it's like 30 days before the money leaves the community, whereas with this is an American stat, so forgive me, it's not the UK. I saw it in the black community. It spent 6 hours in the community before it leaves. That's quite shocking.
It's telling.
However, a great book that we've alluded to on a past episode is Viktor Frankl's book, you know, and one half of it, A Man's Search for Meaning, and one half of it was talking about how they sort of maneuvered whilst being in the concentration camps, and these people were given these little tokens every day to get food and stuff like that, and they trade each other's tokens. So they, through chaos and through suffering, really, they learned a way to form some sort of currency with tokens, and I think they understood the importance of togetherness. I don't want to argue that point for black people. The reason I don't want to argue that point for black people was during the slave trade, if we're going to allude to two disasters, you know, awful stuff. During the slave trade, for example, when that happened, the problem that you had was there were so many different languages. You could be sitting next to somebody from Sudan, someone from Ghana. How do you communicate? See what I'm saying to you? How do you communicate with them? It's so difficult. So I'm not going to argue that. And there's no reparations for black people, as we know as well. So it's well and good talking about that and what they've done. And yes, cool, there's things that we can take out of it without being too prideful. But at the same time, we weren't afforded the same things that they've been given in terms of reparations payments.
I'm speaking about now.
But it's a deep.
I'm speaking about now.
You can't talk about now and not talk about history, though.
Obviously, we are actively supporting each other, supporting black businesses. Right. But now we have the information, we have everything that we need. So why is it still that you're seeing these TikToks?
There's
like,
information.
What do we need to do as a community?
I think it's
to push things
takes
forward?
time.
Because for me personally, I'm sick and tired of it. Like it's frustrating. Like I don't like it when I go online and I see people bashing people's businesses publicly. Like, but what are we doing? Are we pulling people to the side and saying you shouldn't be doing this? Are we?
Yeah, we
are
have a
correcting
responsibility
them?
to do so.
Like, what do we?
But just
need
to go back
do?
to what you said about, it staying in the black community for 6 hours or something, I think one of the reasons for that is infrastructure.
Okay, talk to me.
So, like, for example, if it stays a lot longer in the Jewish community, let's say I'm a black person and I need to purchase
Toiletries. I can go to a Jewish shop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I get your point. I
yeah.
get your point. It says accessibility as a black person. I want to go buy paracetamol. I don't have a black pharmacy. This is why when we're talking about that, we then got to talk about Tulsa and what was done to a black community, the Black Wall Street, what was done then, and how they crashed it out. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I get all of that. My thing is, because I'm so big on history, there's absolutely no way I'm having a conversation about today and what we're doing now and being dismissive of the effects of the past. I don't think it works like that. Can we do better? Absolutely. But we've got to maintain and understand the effects of these things there, because when you've had nothing for so long as a people, the craving to get this luxury item and stuff like that is massive. But when you've always had it, then you don't really care. And I get it, it's not right, but we need to once again allow some grace. But you're right, we've got to do something actively, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like, just small ripples when we make a big wave. So
Absolutely.
As long as we all know we have that innate responsibility to make a difference, I think the infrastructure is going to get there. We're going to grow. So.
And that's why it's so important to support black businesses, because through that, the local initiatives will come. So we won't be having a conversation of I want to go to a pharmacy or I want to go somewhere to deal with hair bumps that affect us when we go to the barbers.
Maybe I can send my kids to Dr. Umar's school whenever he builds it.
Maybe I need to buy black soap, do the washing, and I don't need to. It's not in Tesco.
Yeah.
But Addis is closed at 3:00. Addis need to change the opening time. But it's just things like that. Do you get what I'm saying? But listen, I think it's been a great conversation.
Oh no, I was gonna say.
Go on.
No, I have to mention this.
We can go for
I have
so
to mention
long.
this. This is important to mention. Do you remember Crepton Conan?
That's a good one.
Their restaurant.
No, supermarket.
Their black-owned supermarket. And the kind of outrage and the
regarding ownership percentage
and stuff like that. Like, what's your thoughts on that quickly, just before we wrap up?
I think it's sad. I think it's very sad that someone was so affected by two black guys posting that they've opened a supermarket that they've decided to go on the government website to check what their ownership percentage was.
Bad mind.
I think it's very sad that we're at that position. That's all I'm going to say on it.
Yeah, that's not supportful.
I don't want to go too much about it, but I think it's sad. And what I do want to do is congratulate Crepton Conan for opening a supermarket, because that's tackling a whole heap of issues that some people aren't aware that we have. And I think they don't get the credit they deserve, man. Because I remember when they opened Crepton Conan as well. And I think, once again, there's outrage about
PR,
this, that, and the other. And it's
their first foray into doing that, and there wasn't enough grace, like we spoke about.
There wasn't enough grace. There wasn't enough grace. And I think if someone's in a position to change your reality, allow them to change your reality. Don't jump on them at the first opportunity that you see fit. Give them some grace, because we got to treat them like babies. I always say, when you're learning a new skill, you got to teach that to that person and look at them like babies, yeah? We're children. You don't shout at a child to learn something. No, you allow them the time and grace to learn, and we're here to support. Yeah, supporting isn't cracking down the first time that we see something. No, support is, you know what, you messed up there, but I'm going to give you that grace and I'm going to keep supporting you. I'm going to keep supporting you until it's... you're not doing nothing in return, and I think we need to do that for our people, man. The blackness is greater than anything else, okay? The opportunities and the avenue that's going to open for us and our kids and all these people, it's greater than going on TikTok for 2 minutes for a bit of fame, which I think a lot of the time it is, because you're not solving nothing by doing that. All you're doing is bringing negative press to that person.
Yeah, well done to them, man. Yeah, they've done their thing.
No, I think they've done their thing.
Shout out to Crepton Conan.
Shout out to Crepton Conan, man.
Before you mentioned the challenge.
Yes. So off the back of the conversation as well, I think we've had a great conversation today. And I think what a lot of the listeners can probably attest to is the fact that we've supported people from a black business owner's perspective. I think it'd be unfair to stop the conversation there. I think it's very important that we get two black business owners, 2, 3, whatever we can, to sit here and come here and talk about what sort of initiatives that they have to support the black community, to build stuff within the communities that are supporting them. I think that will further sort of bridge the gap and the discord that's being built around sort of supporting black businesses, because we're all that we have and we need to tap into what we have. So I challenge two or three black businesses to come on the show, you know, have a conversation with us, tell us what it is that you're actively doing to sort of support black community and to build stuff for generations. But yeah, it's been a good episode. I'm FDS, of course.
I'm Lechy Lech.
And I'm Daps. Thank you for watching, listening. Subscribe if you
like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon.
And subscribe. You ain't even said it. Click the icon below. I hope you put it below. Click the icon below. But yeah, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much.